Welcome back, everyone. Now, today I'm excited to talk about an interesting concept about temperature and actually do a live demo of this. Before we get into the specifics, I think we all are now aware about OpenAI. This is the company behind ChatGPT. ChatGPT in itself is a intuitive web interface that provides you an opportunity to chat live with an LLM model and get your answers. Now, behind the scenes, ChatGPT was actually GPT 3.5, and what preceded GPT 3.5 was another three versions of this model, which started from GPT 1 back in 2017, 2018. The interesting part, though, is all of these models were traditionally available through another website, which is what we call playground.openai.com. Now, a lot of people don't use it as much today, but this was where the genesis was. And for somebody who is more curious to get into the details, how tinker with a lot more parameters that go behind the scenes, I think this is a perfect place. For somebody who wants a more abstracted version of this entire capability, just wants to chat with this tool and not worry too much about the parameters or the configurable parameters, let me put it this way, they would definitely use the chat gpt version, right? So today if the idea is to demonstrate the concept of temperature, I have switched to playground. The way this entire playground is structured, on the left pane you can see playground assistance, fine tuning. You can generate your own api keys and whole sort, right? So they are developer toolkits that you see over here. On the top you see there are three options, right? This chat one is the one that closely mimics what you see on ChatGPT, but what started off was this playground complete option. As you can imagine, right? LLM models, as we have learned, is all about predicting the next word very smartly. And in this interface, as simple as it looks, so you can just put in some free text, and this playground will auto complete it for you using a suite of models. So we'll switch to the chat interface. If we go to the right, we have models, we have parameters like temperature. Higher temperature means more creative responses, lower temperature means more deterministic responses. Then you can adjust the length in terms of tokens. Then you have some parameters like top p. Top p is a very interesting one. I think it informs how diverse is the data that is powering your model. And then obviously there are certain penalties that you can imply on ChatGPT as it comes up with response. So let me take a case in point. Let's say like you have to come up with a brand story for a cloud kitchen startup in New Delhi. And then, like, let's see how we can go about it, right? So we first need to set up some sort of a system prompt. Here I've just played up a little. So there is a successful billion-dollar serial entrepreneur who has launched multiple food brands in the market. Will leverage his deep understanding of the consumer preferences and marketing expertise. Now when we go next, we have to put some sort of a prompt, right? So we have to create a brand story. Let's put something like this: generate a compelling brand story. Okay, perfect. We'll use GPT-4. I have access to GPT-4. If you don't have it, you can probably switch to GPT 3.5. Now, what I'll do is I'll start with a more deterministic sort of a response. So I'll dial the temperature all the way down. I'll keep the maximum words strength to, let's say, 600-ish. Okay, and here is how it goes. So now I'm getting a brand story live. It takes a lot of time. There is some latency, obviously, with OpenAI. This is the kind of problem that other models like the Claude and Mistrals of the world are solving right now as we speak. But while GPT completes this, I'll take a snippet of this and keep it in my back pocket, right? So we'll come back to it. What we want to do with this. Okay, so this is one story. Let's go. We'll delete this response. We'll now change the temperature to the other end of the spectrum. We'll take it slightly north of even 1. Okay. Traditionally, this temperature setting has to be between 0 to 1. I'm not sure why it shows beyond 1 on this interface. So I'm just choosing a slightly higher value. Okay. Let's go. So now we are getting another brand story here. It's interesting how it carves out these stories, right? It came up with an interesting name for the kitchen. I did not tell it, right? It is using some very interesting vocabulary for the English to make it super compelling for the upbeat audience. Uh, when I follow through the text, it seems like it's more futuristic, and I think I think there's a lot of wordplay in the second one. Let's see what is happening here. So we have the two brand story versions with us, right? What I'll do now is I'll switch gears and go to Chat GPT. And what we do here is we say like compare the writing style for the two brand stories stated below. Come up, summarize your assessment in a tabular format. Perfect. So we put brand story one, we take brand story two. Okay, I'll put it right over here. This is brand story two, and this is brand story one. Okay, perfect. Let's see what it throws at us. Hmm. You see, like we had the exact same prompt, and what GPT is saying, like on many different criterias, these two brand stories are fundamentally very different, right? They're both uh, good, right? It doesn't mean like a lower temperature doesn't give you a good response. It totally depends on the kind of context you are in. But let's say I think the language, for instance, right? Brand story one, which was based on a lower temperature, it says it's a descriptive with rich use of adjectives, and that's how a traditional marketer may behave, right? But what you see on the right is a complex and vibrant emphasis on sensory experiences, right? So this seems futuristic, right? And maybe I have a bias, but I feel like when it comes to marketing, maybe shifting our spectrum towards the right may help us better. So this is just the case in point. If I go back to playground, right? This was just one example, but the amazing part is while there are so many sessions talking about how to write a perfect prompt and so on, I think the company itself has a standard template for a wide variety of tasks, right? So if it is to do something about Python bug fixer, or if you have to, let's say, create a single page website using HTML and CSS, or maybe you have to summarize meeting notes. All of these like are available as preset templates that you can open up and start doing stuff. So I would highly recommend playing around with on the playground and getting to know this OpenAI platform a lot more better. Till then, signing off. Hope you had a good learning experience. Stay tuned.